Welcome to Crimson Tide Connection, your home for Crimson Tide sports. And I'm joined today by the head coach of the Alabama rowing team, Larry Davis. Coach, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate being here.
Coach, your team has been off to a strong start this season. Alabama's A boat won the Championship 8 race at the Chattanooga Head Race, and then you took the bronze at the prestigious Head of the Charles. What has been the key to this A boat success this season?
I think the biggest thing that the girls have done is they've really come together as a unit, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get that kind of chemistry that a boat needs to go really fast. Mm-hmm. And we're certainly not at our peak speed yet. We're still working through some things technically that we want to do, but I think the thing that's come a bit sort of as a surprise, because you wouldn't expect it, is the mix of, we have a little bit of every class in there. We have some seniors, some juniors, sophomores and freshmen, that they have come together and sort of had a unified focus as to what they want to do, and the willingness to work together, and they look at each piece that they do out in the water, each practice they do, that what can we accomplish? And it's something that we missed a little bit of that last year. I think there's a bit of an aggressiveness to, let's see what we can accomplish, let's see how fast we can go, let's push it a little bit harder, and that kind of attitude and approach to what you're doing always leads to greater success, and I think that's one reason why we've seen the result that we did up in Chattanooga, and as well as what we did in Boston.
Coach, the team ran into some traffic at the Head of the Charles, getting boxed in late in the event. Kind of talk about that, and how did they respond to that?
Well, you never want to get boxed in, but if you look at that day and then the next day's racing, there was even more of that going on. It's when you have crews of similar speeds pushing and trying to make sure they have the best advantage going down the race course, and not unlike car race, something like that, you want to get at the inside of the turn and do things like that, shortest course. Sometimes people make poor decisions about where they should be on the race course, and we sort of suffered a little bit from that. Not that we made the bad choice, but there was a crew directly in front of us, and they were doing some things that technically they probably should have been penalized for. Mm-hmm. But ultimately you have to find a way around that, and I think that our girls responded well to that. They had to be very patient and tenacious to get through that situation, and it probably slowed us down a little bit in some places. We could have gone a bit faster, but the thing that I was impressed with is that we didn't get frustrated. We didn't lose our composure, and we found a way to get through them. And actually, I was watching from about the last mile in, and it's right near a critical turn that you get to the last bridge, and I was wondering, I said, this is going to be interesting because we're not in the best position to take this turn. And I said, I'm hoping we're going to get through these guys so that we're not going to get either T-boned or pushed wide on the course. And I think between our coxswain making a good decision and then our athletes responding well to what she said, hey, this is what we need to do, and the girls really pushed hard, they made about as nice a turn as you could on that last turn at near Elliott Bridge. And I was very pleased to see that they got through that, and they did it the right way.
Coach, what has been the biggest difference between the Tide's opener in Chattanooga and this race in Cambridge, and how much improvement have you seen from the team?
Well, there are two different race courses. The race course in Chattanooga is fairly user-friendly. It's sort of a long, sweeping turn that you can make gradually, and if you get a little out of position, you don't suffer too much for it. And normally, even if there is some traffic jams, there's a way to get around it without having to go out of your way or getting blocked. It can happen, but it doesn't happen very often. If you look at the Head of the Charles, it's a very narrow course. There's a number of bridges, and there's just a lot of crews. Mm-hmm. And if you get yourself in a poor position to take a turn, if you get yourself in a position where you don't look ahead a bit, to where you feel, okay, I've got to plan it out. I've got to have my crew at this point in this place, and then we got to make this move so that we take the best shot into this turn and don't get blocked or next thing you know, clash blades. And we did a little bit of that as we were getting ready to take that turn towards the latter part of the race course. You just have to really be more of a tactician, I think, as a coxswain, and call the right thing at the right time in Boston, whereas it's not quite as critical up in the Chattanooga course.
Well, Coach, coming up on November 3rd and 4th, you head back to Chattanooga for the Head of the Hooch, but we'll have a preview of that next week as you get closer to that match. But for now, congratulations on the season so far.
We're excited about what we've been able to accomplish, and we're looking for some more improvements so that we'll even be faster with the last race of the fall.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today, Coach. And
thank you.
Again, we'll have a preview of the Head of the Hooch next week as the team prepares for that. But for now, for head coach Larry Davis, I'm Christopher England for Crimson Tide Connection.